podcast that explores the profound journey of self-discovery and transformation. My name's Christy, and along with me, my co-host Jen, who's not here today, we help you embark on enlightened conversations with experts from diverse modalities around the world. And together, we guide you on a path to empowerment and awakening. Today, we have an amazing guest with us. Her name is Krystal Wilson. Welcome, Krystal.
Hi, how you going? Thanks for having
I'm
me.
Yeah, beautiful. So good to have you here. All right. So today, Krystal, you are a master in NLP, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, and a Reiki practitioner and founder of She Who Dares.
Yes, that is I.
That is I. Beautiful. So let's dive in, Krystal. You have an impressive background in you're a master in NLP, is that correct?
Yeah, I've done my practitioner level and then I went and did my master level in NLP.
Beautiful. Timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, and Reiki, and all the things. It feels
Yeah.
like a very holistic approach. Now, with these modalities, how have they influenced your journey and the expertise in guiding others through spiritual awakening?
Well, I actually, started my own journey of healing and deep self-discovery, and all of the modalities that I have now trained in and now use with my clients, I actually used in my own journey of
Mm,
healing, which I think is really powerful.
yeah.
Because I've really been on this specific journey myself.
Yeah.
So I did a breakthrough with a breakthrough specialist coach many years ago, and I just had this incredible, profound healing experience. And then I was like, I want to be trained in this. I want to help other women have their own breakthroughs. And I did my master and prac in timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, became a specialized breakthrough coach. And so, yeah, that's kind of how the journey, the short answer of
Yeah.
how the journey started. But everything that I have done, even like I do a lot of business coaching and mentorship. I've had 2 businesses that I built to multiple 6 figures. Like I've studied frontline business management. So it's all been a collection of like my own life experiences. But I really do believe in also, learning academically as well.
Mm.
It's a beautiful mix of having like my own life experiences, my own healing journey, but then also going and studying those modalities and studying those practices so that I could really bring the 2 worlds together to help other women.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. And, I love these conversations with people from like there's various modalities, but what I'm finding is there's this common thread of what people bring to the world, and it's an alchemy of what was created throughout their own journey, what
Mm.
they found the most powerful, like um, I suppose like you have had your breakthrough and hypnotherapy. I'm like really intrigued by. I'm looking at studying this myself. Can you tell me a bit about how that has impacted your journey?
Yeah, I actually would say that long before I even did my own breakthrough or studied NLP,
Mm.
I remember I was, not in a great place, probably having one of my many dark night of the souls. And I feel like it's many. It's not been one. It's been like a collection of them.
Yeah.
And I remember just having this idea that maybe, or this thought that maybe the thoughts that I thought about myself, because I had really toxic, negative, like inner dialogue. And I
Mm.
just kind of had this epiphany one day. I was like, maybe that this isn't actually normal. Like maybe I'm not meant to be thinking
Mm.
so harshly of myself. And from that thought, then I actually found a hypnotherapist, and I actually did lots of hypnotherapy. And, this is like probably 10 years before I even studied anything.
Yeah.
And so that was my first experience. I also used to be a smoker, and I used hypnotherapy to quit smoking. And so I really had over my own life as well, like seeing the power of like really when you reprogram the subconscious mind,
Mm.
that's really how you create change in your outer world, is by doing that
Mm.
deeper healing and reprogramming. And hypnotherapy is such a powerful tool, and it's made such an impact in my own life. So then a decade later, that's when I was kind of studying and getting all the certifications and like, what tools do I want in my toolkit to help women, is a very natural path to take, because it had such an impact in my own life.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. So, as the founder of She Who Dares, can you share the inspiration behind this women's empowerment movement and how it aligns with the process of spiritual awakening?
Yeah, well, I just really wanted to inspire women to like be daring. Do you know what I mean? Don't fear your shit. Do you know what I mean? Be willing to like dive into it, because on the other side of like your pain, your fear, your blocks is actually everything that we desire. But we have to be brave, and we've got to be willing to do that inner work, and that applies to everything. So the She Who Dares is kind of like, that was my journey. Is I had to challenge everything I'd ever been taught. I had to challenge every thought, every belief, everything that had been modeled to me, because there was something within me long ago that told me there was more, that I was, that had that inkling within myself. But in order to like actually birth the more, I had to challenge everything. And that's scary. That's no easy thing to do, is like challenge your whole identity, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. And that's kind of like the She Who Dares, is daring women to like venture into the abyss of the unknown, and know that it's what's on the other side.
I love that. The abyss of the unknown. It sounds like it's almost like challenging women to not be compliant and complacent with life, and like really step out of that comfort zone and into courage.
Yeah, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Let's go after it. Let's make a plan. I feel like, myself included, I always speak from my own experience, is we're just living, and I really want to inspire more women to like really live their life. But you've got to venture through some weeds to get to that. And that's kind of the She Who Dares kind of, my mantra that I live by and I teach is that when I lead, the universe leads me.
Yes.
And it always starts with me. And so it's my favorite mantra that I live by, and coined, like, so I lead and the universe leads me. So we get it wrong, where we're sitting around thinking, we're in our minds, we're not moving, we're not pushing ourselves, we're not leading ourselves in the direction that we wish to go. And then we're thinking, see, it doesn't work for me, it's not happening for me, not realizing that you are not moving. And it's only when you move and lead yourself that the universal energy supports your movement. And so that's just really kind of like what the She Who Dares movement is all about, is leading ourselves and seeing that the magic of the universe only works if you lead yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember a coach once saying to me, like, it takes two people. Like, you can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves. And if you have someone in front of you, or you're the person that wants to be helped, and you're just sitting there and this person is behind you trying to lift you, it's like the universe is trying to lift you up. Like, you're just like this dead weight. But if you actually use your own strength and weight and like push yourself up, or like, if someone's got their hand out, like you actually pull yourself up, it's like you need both for it to work. And the universe doesn't collude unless we're willing to take that action, right? Dive, like you said, dive into that shit. So many people are afraid of the shit that they're already sitting in, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
totally.
I have these conversations with people, and they're like, I'm like, so how is this serving you? And they're like, it's not serving me. I'm like, but you're still sitting in the shit.
Well, it is. It's subconsciously, it's serving them. It's called secondary. Absolutely. It's called secondary gain. So it means it's like, actually, I'm so terrified of like letting this thing go, because then I'll have no excuse or reason to stay sitting in my shit. And even though it's uncomfortable, we actually love it. People like to sit and play in their own shit. And they're like, why do I stink? They're like, why do I stink? I don't get it. It's like, well, you're sitting in your own shit.
That's it. I love that analogy. I love it. So for many of our listeners, a lot of them are women, not all of them, but a lot of them are women who are navigating a spiritual awakening. What common challenges or themes have you observed in your clients going through the same sort of thing, and how can they best navigate this transformative period?
I find that looking at clients and even myself, as I've navigated many of those, is that it's the first sign is you're not listening. You know what I mean? Like, you're not listening. There's been many taps on the shoulders. There's been many kind redirects, like trying to like move you to where you say you want to go, but we're not listening. And so there's usually a deeper wound around self-trust, not ability not to trust self. But most people, that's the first red flag, is they're actually not listening. So it's really like, I mean, it's basic. What do you people want some like golden key, but it's basic. Start listening. Like, how do you listen? You've got to create space to connect to you. How do you create that space? It's basic shit. Are you meditating? Are you journaling? Like, it's nothing profound. It's so basic. The thing is, it's so simple and easy to do that we don't do it because we dismiss it as not impactful, that I'm so stuck or I'm in so much suffering. What's that going to do? That's not going to do anything. It's like, actually, it's the door to everything. It's the gateway. So the first thing is, I'm working with a client at the moment actually, and she's navigating that kind of crumbling and like all the things. And it's like, babe, you know all of this. You know what moves you need to make. You've had the intuitive guidance coming through for 6 months, 12 months. You've not been listening. Now you're in a crumbling. Now the universe is throwing bricks at you, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like, we haven't been listening.
Look out for that train if you don't listen.
Yeah, the train is coming. She had the train, and I've had the train many times. It's like, it's so easy to say this, but when you're in it, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes actually the crumbling, the train, the spiritual awakening, the suffering is all a beautiful part of the journey. It's only in hindsight that we can look back and be like, I see I wasn't listening. So
this is like, that saying of we don't actually make change until the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change.
Yeah, I love that quote. It's so powerful. It's so true. I've got so much evidence of my own life doing that. Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
It's insane how our brains want to complicate everything, right? And it's like you said, it's actually, I find even with my clients that it's the more simpler processes that make give them the most traction, but also get them the most results because they're way more spacious.
Yeah, it gets to be easy. And I think we want to, like, the brain obviously wants to complicate it because that puts us into overwhelm, which then, all of our shit comes up. We can't do this. It's just like a toxic cycle that we're in.
It is.
But it actually is easy. It is simple. In terms of like, navigating your stuff, obviously it takes a commitment. There's lots of different things you can do. But those first initial steps are actually really easy and simple. But it's, in saying that, when you're in the pit of darkness and suffering and you're having your awakening, your dark night of the soul, it doesn't feel easy. It feels like the hardest thing on the face of the earth. But once you start to move in the direction that you want to go, it's like the universe moves with you. So those first couple of steps feel really difficult, but then you get the momentum of energy behind you, and it becomes easier and easier and easier.
It does. So, in your role as a breakthrough coach and business mentor, how do you help individuals integrate their spiritual growth or growth just in general into their personal and professional lives?
Well, I would say that there's like 3 parts to any like healing journey. And that first part is really awareness. So where are you? What's working? What's not working? And then and actually doing the work. So getting in the arena, doing the actual work. And that's so individual to each client, their needs. Somebody, I mean, with mentorship, I do a lot of private mentorship, and which is business based, but so often, I mean, we're not even talking about business because it's like there's so many, like, before we're even going to get to a launch strategy, there are so many internal blocks and things that are in the way of even doing the post. So it's like, and then there's the integration, and where I want to lead women is to embodiment. and there's a journey. It's like doing the work, being in the trenches, integrating the work. So the integration is really about everything that you've learned, putting it into practice. And I would say the integration is actually where a lot of people fail, and they stay in the doing the work, integrating, but not really integrating, going back. So they never really get to embodiment. Everyone wants the embodiment. I want to embody these beliefs. I want to embody this new identity. I want to embody the woman that I've worked hard to become, but they don't actually integrate. So they stay stuck in the doing coaching course after coaching course, working with, and all that stuff is positive if you're moving forward. So that's the journey that I like to take women on. But again, what I have learned, I've worked with hundreds of women, is that even if you're not integrating, that's also part of the journey. Do you know what I mean? Totally. It's like some of the things that I've had to work through, I'm like, why am I still working on this? Like, and it's because I haven't gotten to the deeper learnings. I haven't gotten to the core of it.
It's the layers, right?
Yeah. So I also really like to really trust that everyone's journey as is. But I'm the kind of coach who calls people out. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to let you sit and feed me a bunch of bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the point otherwise?
There's no point paying you to support. It's like to support us, and if you're just going to be a best friend and sit and listen and not call on the BS, like that's what a good coach does.
Yeah, definitely. And I really, one of my things is really helping women to get good at calling themselves out of their own bullshit. Because I'm not always going to be there, and I think that that's an important part of the integration, because your wounds and all your stuff, like something that I always teach is like I don't really believe in healed. Right? Like, I don't believe that we arrive somewhere where all of the stuff that have been like your deep core wounds just vanish because you've done enough healing. I believe we get better at managing it and how much we feed it. So this idea, I use the word heal and healed a lot, but my understanding of the way I use it is different, because I don't believe you arrive at some healed, enlightened place. I believe that Tony Robbins still wakes up some days and it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It's like having the worst day and beating himself. I believe that Oprah still has days like that, but it's like how you react and respond to it. And that's really the journey. It's like we're not eliminating your self-doubt. Like, I wake up, I've got to battle my self-doubt sometimes every day, but I can still move. I can still take action. I can still make plans. I can still show up. I can still be the best me on the days that my self-doubt is telling me that I'm doing everything wrong and I'm never going to make it, right? So it's like how you manage all of those things. And I think that's what working in doing healing work, doing coaching, working with mentors, they give you that whole new perspective.
I really admire you to speaking to that, because I use the word healing and healed because that's what people resonate with. And for me, I'm like when I check in, I'm like, well, healing kind of refers to someone being broken and needing to be fixed. And I don't believe anyone needs to be fixed. I just believe we have stagnant energy. So those days that Tony Robbins wakes up and goes, oh, fuck, like there's just something, there's a blockage there, right? It's just stagnant energy that just needs to be literally moved. And when we have the tools which we gain through the coaching that we do, or the courses and the programs and the retreats and all the things, they're just tools, not to keep us in our shit. They're tools that we can pull on when something comes up. So many people, I find, go looking. It's like I just need to do this healing journey, and I need to go in and keep finding the wounds and finding the things that need to be fixed and rectified, and the blockages and all the things. And I feel like they're just experiences. We can pop them up here on a shelf, and we can draw on the experiences when we need them and use them alongside of our tools to remind us that, hey, we've fucking been here before. We've done this. We've moved through this. What did I do last time? How could I move through that a bit faster? Well, maybe I could just be a bit more open to the process to start with, right?
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes is "New level, new devil," and I'm not sure whether you ever, "New level, new devil." So, and if you've ever read Napoleon Hill's "Outwitting the Devil," it's such an incredible book. And if you don't read the book, get the audio, and because it's a whole it's an experience listening to the audio, because he interviews the devil, and the devil being our lower self, the devil being our inner critic, the devil being our fear, our doubt. And so what I have learned as well, it's like every level I get to, this is why there's no such thing as healing. It's a journey.
Yes.
And I, I say the journey of life is healing. It's like constantly, because every level you get to, it's like, if you think you've arrived, you're done for,
Never.
because you get there and you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
what's going on? Why is this coming up again? It's like, well, that's the journey of life. It's like, and if you let each level get you down, and you make yourself wrong, or I can't believe I'm here again, it's like changing that perspective. It's like, wow, imagine what's going to happen this time when I break through this, when I get to this new level, when I become this version of myself, this next level of myself.
Yeah, it's the language, like, imagine what I can learn this time, right? Like you just said, it's like, when we shift our language, because our language really creates our reality. It's like, oh my God, not this again. I can't do this again. As opposed to, I wonder what I'm going to learn different. Like, it completely different experience. We're way more open to the process. And I went through another dark night of the soul at the end of last year, start of this year.
Same,
and
babe.
I was like, there's this like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is the darkest night. But it was like the quickest transition through, because I was so fucking open to the process. And I actually didn't do any of the work until I allowed myself to sit in the shit, to feel the emotion, to let that run through my system. Because if we start trying to heal us when we're in it, we're not allowing ourselves to go to the depth, and we're kind of not really getting to the root cause, right? So what I found this time, rather than doing it like through it, I just let myself move through it. Then I did the work, and I got the magic so much faster, and it was so much deeper. So much deeper.
Can I tell you, I think for a lot of people, and you might have been the same, like the world obviously has been through a dark night of the soul. We've been through a lot. But it's funny because in the industry or my peers, what I'm noticing is that we all I know for me in 2020 when the world was crumbling, I was like, Krystal, you cannot get in the pit with everyone. You're gonna lift people out of the pit.
Yes.
So I made like a conscious decision to like check out of like what was happening so that I could serve on a greater level, right? Because I couldn't be in the fear with everyone and then helping people. So I made that decision, but then it's like 2022 is like, ha, you thought you escaped it. Not this time, bitch. And it was like, holy shit. I was like, and I feel like a lot of us who like really like didn't kind of get consumed by the fear and really just was like, I'm going to do a lot of work. I'm going to help a lot of people. They need me right now. It caught up with us last year. And we all had these like dark night of the soul where it was like time for us to process like what the fuck has been going on. And I was the same. It was my darkest nights, but my quickest transition. And I was like, wow, that's when you go, holy shit, like this work really works.
It does.
Because then it works, and it's like we're so looking for like instant gratification. Like even when I do breakthrough work with people,
straight away,
right? I do breakthrough work with people. And I watch them. I've got this beautiful bird's eye view of getting to watch all of my clients, 6 months, 18 months, 2 years, 3 months. And what I've noticed is that everyone's integration period is different. Everyone reaches embodiment at a different time. But we're so like, sometimes it can be like, I watch someone for 18 months and then I see it's landed. They've got it. They've just broken through. We did a breakthrough 18 months ago and I can see that all the micro shifts have compounded and now they get it, right?
Just like alchemizes and goes bang.
But sometimes people, and I was the same. I finished my breakthrough and I was like, what's going on? Like why? Like I did my breakthrough and was expecting like, the heavens to open up. It's like everything's the same. But then 6 months I was like, holy moly, like my mind is different. I think different. I act different. I react different. It's like powerful, powerful stuff. So it takes time to integrate.
It does. I know, I think it was in about 2018, I made a really big decision to stop any coaching because I was just doing program after program after program after program. And I was like, right, 12 months, I'm not doing anything. I bought into a program that I had to have a really uncomfortable conversation because I was actually not honoring and I wasn't in integrity with myself. So I pulled out of that program and that cost me and that's fine. That was what happens, right? But I ended up going for, I've actually only just bought into my first program this year. So I've gone like, what's that, 6 years without anything, because what I noticed is that I'd done all of this work and had all of these tools, but nothing fully landed because I just kept going on to the next thing. And what I've realized is actually I've got all the tools that I need. And when I need something else, when I feel like, for my business, I need to learn something and pull something in, I can go and, right, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But that, this is that getting stuck in the healing that we can stuck in. I see it everywhere. No one really speaks to that.
I think look, I do private. I've had clients where they're like, keep their, wanting to do the same thing. I've had those conversations privately. Like, what do you want to get from this time? You know what I mean? Like, what's really going on? So I think as a coach, you have a duty of care to have those conversations privately with people. If you see people who are just doing the same thing and never really implementing, never really integrating, never really getting to embodiment, definitely there's a pattern, but that break is so important. So I've said to clients, we need a break. You need to go and integrate the work that we've just done. Like, you need to go and put it into practice when there's no one around to keep you accountable, because that's where you get stripes on the board. Yes. That's where you're in the real arena of your life, implementing what you have learned when there's no one to hold you accountable. There's no one, Coach Krystal going, have you done your, there's none of that. That's really where the transformation happened. It's not so much like in the container or in the coaching space. It's the after.
It's the after.
And some people need many courses, many coaches to get to a point, I know I did, where I actually then start to do the work on my own. That just takes time sometimes.
I had years before.
And that break is so important as well. The break is so important. Yeah.
I was like, there was an addiction there, and probably some sort of dopamine hit or something that I was getting from that process. And I actually had a girlfriend say to me the other day, so who's your business coach these days? I'm like, I haven't had one in like 5 years. And she's like, what? Like, it was like that, people are like mortified. I'm like, I don't feel like I need one. When I feel like I have a block and I need to move through something, I'll reach out to someone to sort of help me move through that.
That's a pattern though. Like, if you're jumping from different coach to different, because I think also it's better to, I think long-term mentorship is
stay with the one person.
Yeah, when I first launched my mentorship, I had a 3-month, a 6-month, a 12-month. Within like the first year, I was like, 3 months is not enough time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the minimum amount of time now is 6 months. But I think in the next 6 months, I'm going to move it to a minimum year, 18 months. Because it takes time to like nurture and build something intimate with someone. So 2 things that we see in the coaching industry is people jumping from coach to program to coach. And they're not staying with anyone long enough to really learn anything. No. They're not having any downtime to actually implement and integrate the work. So it's like this launch strategy, that launch strategy, this. And it's like, slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
Let's just do one course. Let's implement it, trial it, test it, get the numbers, and then see what's working for you.
Yeah.
So that's definitely some red flags for people to look out for.
Yes.
And I think it's as a coach, someone who works with people, it's our duty of care to have those intimate, kind, loving conversations with people about something like that.
Absolutely. I love that. That's, again, this is part of a conversation that isn't spoken to. Like, it's like, oh, don't tell people not to get coaching. It's like, you need coaching, but you also don't need it once you've moved through. And the jumping thing, I see it all the time. So earlier on in our conversation, you mentioned intuition. Trusting one's intuition is a crucial aspect to spiritual awakening, or any sort of awakening. How can our listeners develop and strengthen their intuitive abilities, and what role does intuition play in your work?
Oh, it's so big. It's everything. It's like the ground we walk on, the air we breathe. My number one thing is start keeping your fucking promises to yourself.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, honestly, if your word to yourself means nothing, then your whole relationship with yourself is built on shaky as fuck ground. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, and this is something I've had to really, we're not taught this, and it's so important. It's probably the most crucial thing, is that how often do you say to you that you're going to do something? You're going to go to bed at 10 o'clock. You're going to wake up at 6. You're going to go to the gym. You're going to go for a walk, or whatever the hell it is that you say. And I'm talking basic little shit that you do not hold yourself to. Now, to everyone else, if you say you're going to pick someone up, you're going to make them a meal, you do it for everyone else. You keep your promises and your word to everyone else but yourself. You are saying, I don't trust myself. I don't honor myself. I don't respect myself. And this is where the deep, like that flaw, that is the first step. It's like, and I teach my clients, stop telling yourself you're going to do shit. Don't say you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. if you're not going to wake up at 6 a.m. Don't say you're going to, whatever it is, like whatever the things, don't say you're going to meditate. So I would rather you not make that promise to yourself. So that because you're going to break it. I would rather let's start. So that's the first place to start, because you've got to heal. Are you going to use that word again? It's so easy to use, but I like it.
I don't like it. You don't like it, but I feel like everyone people relate to that.
Mend. I'm going to say mend. You have to, like, the core of like mending your relationship with yourself. Like, imagine if you had a friend who was always late, never said what she said she was going to do, always said one thing, did another. You would be like, I can't be friends with you. But you're doing that to yourself. But then you want self-trust. You want success. You want all of these great things. But the core of that, your relationship with yourself, is deeply flawed because you've not kept a basic promise to yourself in years. This is the work I had to do. I didn't even realize how much I broke all of my promises to myself. And I work really hard. It's not easy. Into self-integrity. It's not easy. I work really hard to make sure that I keep my promises to myself. And so from that, then you start to you start to have this beautiful relationship with yourself. There's self-trust, right? So then when the intuition comes through, the guttural feelings, the guidance, the knowing, you're going to listen. You could, first of all, you can't, right now, most people can't even hear it. They're not even connected. They're so out of alignment. They're so disconnected from self. They're breaking all their promises. There's no foundation for any kind of positive and powerful relationship with self. So it's basic stuff. Like, people want like this profound thing, but it's so basic.
No. But it's, how many of us set the alarm? I don't do this, but when you set the alarm for the morning and you press the snooze button and you've made a commitment to yourself last night to get up at 6 o'clock, how many times do you press that snooze button? This is it's how we do lose trust. It's the little fucking things.
I call them the 1%ers. It's like we dismiss them as not important. They are the ground you walk on and the air you breathe. The 1%ers, they all add up. So if you can't even keep a promise to wake up at 6 a.m. To get yourself ready, to have your coffee, to meditate, to get to work on time so you're serving yourself, and you want a $100,000 business, $1 million business, you want success, whatever the hell it is that you want, you can't even wake up at 6 a.m. Like, the universe, like, there's no way you are building a foundation to receive the more that's available to you because you can't self-manage. But I just want to put a disclaimer, because I've been in the pit. I've been in depression, anxiety. I've been in the dark night of the soul. When you're in the pit, is what I refer to it as. These waking up when your alarm goes off feels like the hardest thing. Brushing your teeth, showering, like the basic things feel really difficult. But you can be the victim to that, or you can know that it starts with you and start somewhere. So maybe start with a promise that you know you can keep. I'm going to have a glass of water before bed. Do that for 7 days. Feel good. See, I can do it. I can do small things. I can do hard things, and start to rebuild your relationship with yourself, rebuild your word with yourself. So in saying that, I know that these things can feel really difficult when you're not in a good place. I've been there, but it's up to you. Like, I wish the only person who can change your circumstances is you. And that would be my advice. Start there.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. So for those interested in delving deeper into their spiritual awakening or their business, is there any like upcoming events or resources, online programs that you'd recommend? How can people connect with you and your work?
Well, my website's being fully updated right now. So if you go to www.krystalwilson.com, it's going to be all there so you can see everything. But also you can check out my Instagram, which is at I am Krystal Wilson. It's Krystal with a K. And then my official business Instagram is at She Who Dares Official. I have lots of different things. So my business is split. I do business mentorship and business programs. And then I do a lot of mindset, healing, empowerment work as well. So they're the two ways in which women can work with me. Something fun that I'm actually, I get ideas all the time, and I love to collapse time. So if I get an idea and I feel it in my body, I just go with it before I have time to even think about it. So something fun that I'm doing at the end of this month, because it's something I do in my business every 90 days, is I'm doing a mastermind day. And we're doing it. I'm going to help people plan out the last Q4 of this year to help them have the biggest Q4 of the year. Because I believe that you can, if it's planned and you know what you're doing and you set goals, you can create anything. So that's something fun we're doing at the end of this month for business owners.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I have just put the links below in the chat on the social platforms and also on the podcast. That will be below here. Lastly, what message or guidance would you like to leave our listeners today, especially those that are on their path to finding their true selves of purpose during this awakening journey?
I want you to write this mantra down, and I want you to start to embody it. I lead, the universe leads me. I lead, the universe follows me. So the universe is going to follow your energy. When I move, the universe moves with me. That's it. If you can really start to really integrate that, live your life by that mantra. That's what I teach my clients. It's how I live my life. You will be blown away at what you can create and how quickly stuff can shift, because we don't move, we don't take action, and we're sitting thinking, why isn't anything changing? It's like, babe, you got to get moving, like with your mind, your emotions, your belief systems. You got to move in the direction you want to go, and the whole universe will conspire around you, and they're going to back you up with the most incredible, powerful energy. So when I lead, the universe follows me.
Beautiful. I love that. Yeah, because the universe doesn't do anything until you are 100% committed. So when you are leading, the universe will absolutely follow and collude.
Yeah. And it's not sitting on the couch saying, I want it, right? No. It's the leading yourself, moving.
Taking the action. Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and insights with us today, Krystal.
Thank you.
It's just been absolutely delightful, this conversation. I get really inspired and juicy conversation. I love it. So thank you to our listeners for joining us for another amazing episode of Elevate Your Spiritual Awakening. Don't forget, if you're wanting to connect with our guest, Krystal Wilson, you can access her valuable resources by visiting her website, www.krystalwilson.com. That's Krystal with a K. And follow her on Instagram and Facebook. Her links are below for your reference. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your support helps us continue bringing you inspiring conversations just like this one. So until next time, remember that your spiritual awakening is a journey of self-love and empowerment. Keep exploring, keep growing, and keep elevating your life. Thanks for joining us and Elevate Your Spiritual Awakening. See you in the next episode. Much love.